Judge Louis J. Liman has officially denied Justin Baldoni's bid to depose Taylor Swift in the explosive lawsuit involving Blake Lively. And this ruling has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, the fandom world, and the legal community. The case itself is already one of the most talked about celebrity legal battles of the past year, but with Taylor Swift's name repeatedly dragged into the controversy, public attention has skyrocketed. And now, with the judge's latest decision, there's an even clearer picture of how the courtroom drama is shaping up and why Baldoni's strategy might be collapsing before our eyes. The story begins back in December 2024, when Blake Lively filed her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni in federal court in New York. The allegations were explosive. Lively accused Baldoni, her co-star and director in the adaptation of It Ends With Us, of sexual harassment during production, as well as orchestrating a smear campaign when she refused to go along with his demands. It wasn't just a simple workplace dispute. The accusations included retaliatory behavior, professional sabotage, and a toxic working environment that Lively claimed left her reputation and career deeply harmed. The complaint was detailed, personal, and devastating. Baldoni, of course, fought back. In early 2025, he launched a massive $400 million countersuit against both Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of defamation. That countersuit was dismissed by the court in June 2025, which many legal analysts viewed as a major victory for Lively. With the defamation case gone, the spotlight shifted squarely back onto Lively's original claims and Baldoni's attempt to defend himself against them. So where does Taylor Swift come in? As most fans know, Swift is one of Lively's closest friends. The two women have shared a long, affectionate friendship, with Swift even naming characters in her songs after Lively's children. Ryan Reynolds is part of that inner circle as well. Baldoni's legal team argued that Swift was not just a bystander, but that she had some level of involvement in discussions surrounding It Ends With Us. In court filings, they pointed to text messages where Lively allegedly referred to Swift and Reynolds as her dragons, protectors, and advisors who stood by her side during the dispute with Baldoni. Baldoni's lawyers painted a picture of a powerful inner circle pressuring him, suggesting that Swift herself was part of the push to rewrite or reframe the film. But here's the problem with that argument. Taylor Swift has consistently maintained that she had absolutely no creative or production role in It Ends With Us. Beyond licensing her song, My Tears Ricochet, for the soundtrack, she says she had nothing to do with casting, script changes, or editorial decisions. Swift's team has argued repeatedly that Baldoni's attempt to involve her in the case is little more than a publicity stunt designed to grab headlines and create unnecessary drama. Despite this, Baldoni's attorneys sought to depose Swift, essentially to force her to answer questions under oath about what she knew and what conversations she may have had with Blake Lively. They argued that Swift had already agreed to appear, but her schedule made her unavailable until late October 2025, largely because of the upcoming release of her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, on October 3. They asked for a 30-day extension of the discovery deadline so that Swift's deposition could be included. Swift's attorneys immediately pushed back. In a sharply worded letter to the court, they said she had never agreed to sit for a deposition voluntarily. Instead, they clarified that she was willing to comply only if compelled by the court, and even then, only in late October after her professional obligations. In other words, Baldoni's legal team was overstating her willingness to participate. Swift's side argued that Baldoni was trying to drag her into a case where she simply didn't belong. That brings us to Judge Liman's decision. On September 12, 2025, the judge issued a 4-page ruling that cut through the drama. He denied Baldoni's request for a 30-day extension, stating that Baldoni's team had not shown good cause. Discovery in this case had already been open for 6 months, the judge noted, and Baldoni's attorneys had failed to demonstrate when they actually began trying to secure Swift deposition. They also failed to provide evidence that a proper subpoena had even been served. To the judge, it looked like a last-minute scramble rather than a genuine effort made within the rules of the court. And judges, especially in high-profile cases, are rarely sympathetic to last-minute procedural maneuvers that waste time and resources. Interestingly, the judge did grant a shorter extension to Blake Lively's side for certain discovery issues, a move that only reinforced the sense that the court is leaning towards strict fairness rather than bending to Baldoni's requests. This is a major blow for Baldoni because it effectively shuts down his ability to get live testimony from Swift. Unless something changes dramatically, she will not be deposed in this case, and her role will remain limited to documents and text messages already obtained through discovery. The public reaction to all of this has been electric. Swift's fans, the ever-passionate Swifties, are furious that her name keeps getting dragged into a lawsuit that has nothing to do with her music or her personal life. On social media, fans have accused Baldoni of using Swift as a distraction, a way to create headlines and shift focus away from the core allegations made by Lively. Leave Taylor out of it has become a rallying cry, with thousands of posts emphasizing that she should not be forced into the middle of someone else's legal war. Meanwhile, others argue that if Swift truly had conversations with Lively about Baldoni and the film, then perhaps her testimony could shed light on the dynamics behind the scenes. Legal experts, however, stress that even if she did exchange supportive text, that doesn't automatically make her a material witness. The bar for forcing a celebrity of Swift's stature into a deposition is high, and without clear, direct relevance, the court is unlikely to compel it. This case has also become a fascinating study in how celebrity power, friendship, and legal strategy collide. Blake Lively is not just a plaintiff, she's part of a power couple with Ryan Reynolds, and their friendship with Taylor Swift only heightens the stakes. Baldoni, once seen as a rising star with his adaptation of a Colleen Hoover novel, is now fighting to salvage his reputation in the face of deeply damaging allegations. And through it all, Swift, who has nothing to do with the case, finds herself dragged into headlines yet again, at a time when she's preparing to release one of the most highly anticipated albums of her career. The judge's ruling also sets an important precedent for the trial itself, which is scheduled to begin on March 9, 2026. Baldoni will have to move forward without testimony from Swift, relying instead on document, text, and the testimony of others involved in the production. This limits his ability to shift the narrative towards Swift and forces him to address Lively's claims head-on. For Lively, the ruling is a win, reducing the chances that her close friend will be pulled into the mudslinging. And let's not forget, earlier this year, the court also ordered that private text messages between Swift and Lively be turned over under a protective order. While those messages remain sealed from the public, Baldoni's team has access to them. So even without Swift taking the stand, whatever was said in those texts could still play a role in the courtroom drama. The difference is that Swift herself won't be sitting across from Baldoni's lawyers, forced to answer questions that might only serve to embarrass or distract. As the countdown to trial continues, this ruling is a clear reminder that deadlines matter, evidence matters, and relevance matters. A star's fame does not automatically make them a key witness, and dragging someone into a lawsuit for the sake of headlines can backfire, especially when the court sees through it. So where does this leave us? Blake Lively's case moves forward, stronger than ever. Baldoni's defense strategy has taken a hit. Swift is for now spared from deposition, though the shadow of her involvement still lingers in the background. And the world will watch closely when the trial begins in 2026 to see if these Hollywood giants can resolve their battle in a court of law or whether the drama will spill even further into the public eye. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this, because this story is far from over and every twist is bound to make headlines.